What's up, everybody? This is at work. I'm gonna do a stream probably later on today. I don't. I need to reach out to Bernard to see if Bernard wants me to do a lead off since I am off tomorrow. So keep that in mind. It was a really good conversation about quote short guys. But anyway, I don't know what I'm gonna do the stream about. It could be politics. It could be business. It could be a variety of different things. But just stay tuned. I definitely plan on having some people on the stream as well. Um, but whatever it's gonna be, it's gonna be live and direct. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Sup, Kill Deuce? Nothing in particular. I just wanted to let y'all know that that'll probably be going on. I think I'm gonna do it a little late. Um, it's a small chance I may hop on to other people's streams, but I think I'm gonna do one and bring some people over to my stuff for a second. Introduce some of the newer subscribers because I am getting some new subscribers. So I appreciate that. I appreciate y'all to sending me that, sending me those subs and stuff like that. So some good stuff. Yeah. So anyway, because I definitely want to do that. In fact, I might reach out to Ramil, but Ramil probably has something to do. But I want to do that. Who's worse for Black America, Black Lives Matter or Trump? That may be one thing I'm looking at doing if I do decide to do a political thing, because I think I'm gonna start doing a political show at least maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks or 10 days. But I definitely want to do a political show, and I mean a real political show. Um, it's gonna be some theme shows that I really want to do. This agenda oriented to get some shit really out there and really done. I think I got some stuff I can bring to the table with that, some insight, and then it's time to start getting more folks more used to coming to my channel for streams as well. People paying it forward. The Lord knows that I stay on other people's streams. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brandon L love to be funny. Brandon L love to be funny. This is. Let me say it this way, because I know you low key trolling, but let me say it this way. If I was I'm a light skinned dude. So let's say I'm a light skinned dude, and I always got something to say, or I think something funny. There's nothing wrong with being a dark skinned black male. Obviously, dark skinned black men get a lot of benefits as far as the sexual marketplace. Let's keep that like 100. Even shorter dudes, because if you got dreads or something like that, and you fit that archetype, especially when it comes to black women, quite frankly, a lot of different women too, you folks get benefits from that. Let's keep it all the way 100. If I was a light skinned dude, and let's say somebody didn't know my height, but I always had something slick out of my mouth to say about like dark skinned black men, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't, even though I'm not a dark skinned black man, when it comes to motherfuckers getting shot by the police, like some George Floyd situation or some shit like that, I always had the kind of stereotype. Even if I didn't say it, understand it. I kind of find I pay attention to people that are just trolling generally, and then folks that they like to troll on certain topics. Let me give you a perfect example. Let's take the going overseas thing. Now you got dudes that they'll be cool on everything, but when it comes to going overseas, niggas got so much to say about going overseas. And because these are the conversations I've had, right? And like I said, I went overseas first to the Philippines for my job. Meaning I wasn't, even though I'm not gonna lie and say I've done research about going overseas, but as far as actually going, that was my job that did that, right? And then you got dudes. It's always interesting when you see shit come out of certain dudes in certain situations. Like if you talk about certain topics, I'm pretty much consistently on point as far as coming at something from a logical standpoint. I tend to not try to dismiss shit on some trolling shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm not, even when like Obsidian was low key being funny, trying to break the ice. But at the end of the day, I talk about stuff like that from a very matter of fact standpoint. I didn't address that in any different way than I address anything else. Because at the end of the day, gotta remember, I'm 33 years old. So people have this idea of what shit is like based on their own personal experiences or what they saw, you know, or if they don't have that experience, they project as to what they think it might be. And a lot of folks don't know what the fuck they talking about. I'll give you a perfect example. This is why when dudes always talk about game, and a lot of these dudes that's on that PUA shit, I know it's like there's a difference between gang, like Too Short's gang, and then there's a pimp game, and then niggas that they're benefiting from being pre-qualified based on whatever criteria that particular woman has or those group of women have. This is why I can say a dude like Xanatos Clutch, who is not a short dude, can say he's not really compatible with black women as they're properly oriented in like at least in the east side of America, because the west side is a little bit west coast a little bit different. It's the same, but it's different because black women on the west coast have to deal with different dynamics than black women on the east coast and in the south generally, as far as the level of competition. This is how I could say, okay, I could put him anywhere international, he'll clean up. Why? Because the world is not the same. This is why when people like a top cats will say women are the same everywhere, that's not true. That if you want to say women have generally similarities, okay, sure, fine. That's like saying, that's like saying me saying most men are heterosexual. So that means men are all the same. Most men like pussy. So that means yes, but dudes have different criteria with the pussy that they like. And that shit is formatted in a variety of different ways. So so when it comes to even talking about this, for the most part, black people, this is one of those things like tricking that black people have demonstrated. I'm starting to think black people don't have the IQ to kind of talk about it. Because it's kind of one of those things where they're always going to come at it from a perspective of somebody's whining or somebody's crying. It can't be anything else. And even the point Obsidian was trying to make, which when we talk about the thug point, what folks are talking about is nobody gives a shit that thugs are taking women. That's not how people are seeing it. What dudes are saying is, you talk about leveling up from women that you have agency and go out of your way to choose to be with. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm a square and I'm upset about that. I'm saying that is because don't say I'm not a good black man because I'm not cleaning up some shit that you act like you just found your way into. Because you didn't. You chose that life. It's like a drug dealer telling me it's my job to rehabilitate a drug dealer. No, it's not. You chose that life. Now, I get people can have some circumstances where they try to act like, oh, but I had to feed my family. Every drug dealer had to feed their family. That's why they did it. White supremacy made them sell drugs, which is the argument it's basically arguing my hip. Just like how people want to try to argue that white supremacy made them sell pussy or made them throw that thing. And at the end of the day, it's not so much about whining. It's about being. Now, there's dudes out there. Of course, there's dudes out there that they're whining. But remember, even when dudes are trying to come at ARC, talk about cleaning up the pussy, I've cleaning out all of the bitches. I said straight up, a guy has a right to fuck as many bitches as he wants. And at the end of the day, as a nigga, you need to compete. I said that when I was the only one in there saying that. That was what Obsidian, on Obsidian's thing like a long time ago. They tried to say, well, the problem is guys like ARC don't settle the fuck down. Say guys like ARC don't have to settle the fuck down. If these hoes are fucking, who is he to say no? That's on you to do what the fuck you gotta do. Whether that's tricking, whether that's using economics to leverage it, whether it's doing whatever you want to do. But because at the end of the day, I know what the options are. If you choose to not deal with the options, then really what you're doing is you're choosing to let ego dictate the dynamics by which you do shit. And that's on you. That's a choice. Just like when black women say they don't want to compete because they shouldn't have to. That's their choice to not do it. So don't say there's not an answer. So my point is, coming back to the height thing, black people have this and I've seen this compared to other groups. They have this like regurgitatory reaction to it. Like it's like you can't talk about shit. It's like me saying, let me give you an example. I'm 5'5". I'm less likely to get blown the fuck away by a police officer than a guy that's 6'1". That shit that happened to George Floyd, that most likely won't happen to me. You know why? because I will never activate the I won't necessarily activate the deep seated, shout out to Dr. Francis Welsing, sexual insecurity that a lot of these white cops have. There's the reason why they got guns that maybe a dude like Brandon LB and 6'2" would. So at the end of the day, there's certain. Now, I've been hemmed up by the police a little bit, but it wasn't in the same way like that is. But in the same way, I don't have to walk through the world that way. I just don't. And the way that I'm kind of, my phenotype and stuff is, I blend into crowds very easily. It's not just because I'm short. When I go internationally, I learned that. With my skin tone and everything, it's very easy for me to get lost in a crowd. Generally, no matter what country I'm in, unless it's like white or black, and even black. But when it's like in the middle, so at the end, and I'm not trying to say these are advantages, these are more byproducts than I would consider advantages. I've walked up, speaking of the Dominican thing, a lot of Dominicans think I'm Dominican. And to be perfectly honest, that's why when Obsidian was asking me those broad stroke questions, I was like, it's hard for me to answer that because you want me to answer for entire peoples and shit. And I'm like, and I know Obsidian's in Philly where it's very black and white, and Chicago can be too, but at the end of the day, everybody has their own preferences. So, and even groups of women defined by class, there's a lot of different intersection, like things where you group people together. All people are not alike in that way. Now, I can group certain people based on certain patterns, but even then, that's broad stroking it too much. It's broad stroking it too much because you got to understand in Latin America, environment power is dictated because. So I'm just saying, I ain't trying to beat up on Brandon L because Brandon L is always in here, but I'm just saying, dude, like you seem to have this thing where you think it's like this little, and it's kind of like when brothers are talking about some shit, I don't get that because I've trolled stuff too, but it's always trolling a point. I don't get this knee jerk. Oh, Black's queen. It's like you can't help but say it. Well, I mean, it's kind of like when black women say they're not dark, but they're dark. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm matter of fact, like it's not, even when you look at Bernard, like when Bernard said what he said, like these are knee-jerk reactions. And it's kind of like whenever you're talking or dealing with anything, you have to ask oneself, why am I having this reaction? Keep in mind, one thing you need to understand is we're guys. Ain't nobody I hope ain't nobody trying to sexually assess somebody else. So I mean, you can't. So my question is, why is it amongst men that it's a lot of jokes? You expect women to do that shit, but with dudes, it's kind of like, why is it? And see, the reason why I like this topic is because other than tricking, this is a topic that really reveals the deep-coded emotional gynocracy in black men. Because at the end of the day, this is an easy way that you put this out here and you start forcing dudes to start kind of sexually checking themselves. They start sexually like competing in a way that's very abnormal for what other men do. Other men don't give a shit unless they're going for a bitch directly. They're not giving a fuck about that. You can put a whole bunch of men, pick a race in a room, and they're not gonna say, and you're talking about a topic that has nothing to do with this, and this is not gonna something that's gonna enter their mind. Not really. When you put black men in here, this is something that will enter their mind because they're viewing the other black men through the eyes of women, which is a big reason as to why black men don't work together. And that's actually the point that I was talking about with Kevin and Obsidian. This is actually a social experiment and I've done it before. And it's not about just short dudes. In fact, because short dudes already know what time it is. But like with tall dudes, it's like they gotta reinforce. It's like they gotta reinforce that they're tall. And it's like, well, I'm tall. I'm like, well, ain't no bitches around. So who the fuck are you? Why the fuck does that matter? It ain't like we playing basketball. The fuck does that matter? And it's like they gotta put it out there and poke their chests out. And you see, and I'm not saying, I'm not projecting that. You see that in the chat. You saw it in the chat before. And so motherfuckers got to say, oh, well, you just well, you know, thanks for your honesty. Because every dude that's like under, think about it, it's only 14% of men in totality are even over 6 feet. So this idea of, you know, you're abnormal because, okay, so I'm not even talking about me, but I'm talking about if you're like 5'10", 5'9", technically average height across the board globally is 5'7" as far as men, 5'7", 5'8", like between 5'7", 5'9". Now, if you start to go look at, obviously in America, that skews way taller. Scandinavia, that skews way taller. So I get all of that in America. But even America, with dudes, it's like 5'9". So the thing about it is, you folks really are out here kind of thinking if you're under 6 feet, that's an issue. No, it's very few people. That's why it's a very hard to basketball. That's why when, like, somebody said a comment talk about Allen Iverson is short. Allen Iverson is not Muggsy Bogues. He's maybe short for the NBA, but see, so shit like that, and I get people don't talk about this a lot, so it's not something, but I like pointing this out because as much as dudes like to talk about the females and how dumb they act, this is a topic, this and tricking are two topics that really allude that black men are not that far off from black women. And the gynocracy is not this thing where black men are just immune to it. It's not. It's something that I could very much show on certain topics. Black men are very much in the same thought process as black females. And this is why the black community operates. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that somebody's supposed to be cool with a dude? No. But what that means is, it's a question about subconsciously, what do you prioritize? No, this isn't tall versus short now, dude. And see, you're not, and Brandon, it's interesting because you're not even hearing my point. Like, this is what I'm talking about. It's almost like you can't even understand my point. You can't even understand that. So what is my point? My point is, black men don't work together as a group because black men sexually assess each other just as much as women sexually assess black men. Black men actually I'm not saying all black men do this, but the average of black men, what they will do is they actually assess leaders based on bitches. And you see it in the manosphere all the time. Other men don't do that to that extent. They don't. And when they do, they will do it as a collective group against another collective group. But they don't do it individually at each other at the expense of gaining individual power. Black men do that. And it's not just short black men, tall black men do it. So the question is, a short man has an insecurity. So someone needs to answer me, why do tall men do it? Because if you deal with a German Shepherd, a very powerful animal, that's not an animal versus a Chihuahua. A German Shepherd's cool, collected. It's the Chihuahua that's always barking. But see, when you look at this, you see it. And that's my point. And what I've noticed is you got a whole bunch of dudes. This is like colorism for men. You got a whole bunch of dudes, 5'9", 5'8", whatever, that are sitting here like they're barking. And it's like, whatever. I'm speaking of this very matter of factly. Hold on. I don't know, but let me know in the comment section if this is something you want to explore, because I think this is an interesting topic. Because I think it's interesting to see how men operate about something like this versus how the hoes operate on colorism, on black women operate on color. I'm curious. Because in nothing you've heard me say has had anything to do with who bitches are really choosing. As far as, oh, well, if you pick me, I would never want a chick to pick me on some sympathy shit. Ever. Yeah. What's up, Dollar Washer? Exactly, Dollar Washer. Black men be peacocking for no reason. My channel is 99% dude. Literally in my analytics. I will say this. I'm not somebody who's going to say that. You'll never hear me say the advantage of being short video. But you may see me do a byproduct of being short video. Because there's certain byproducts that, you know, once you're cool with it, is what it is, what it is. It's about quality. It's about, you know. So yeah. And as far as the women, and here's the thing. Now, as far as what Obsidian was talking about, and then I gotta end this. As far as what Obsidian was talking about, it doesn't matter because Obsidian doesn't really hit. The short thing is something new. He doesn't ever hit on that. You haven't heard that in Manosphere. I don't care why women choose what they choose, because see, this is what women will try to do. Women will try to say, well, we don't like short guys because of this and that. Well, my thing is, this is the way I would argue that. You have every right to not want a short dude. You have every right. But the same genetic markers that actually tell you to not like short guys, the social genetic, because it's part of social, and BGS will confirm it because he said it. I would say it's a little bit more genetic, but it's also social, are the same markers that will tell a black dude to not to want to date lighter skin. You see, black women can't accept that. That's got to be your brainwashed white supremacy, white supremacy. But see, they always try to charge what they like. They always like to charge it to oh, well, that's just genetics. Okay, if that's just genetics and there's no socialization, explain to me why other cultures are not that hung up on it. Because all women want taller dudes. That's obvious. But the truth is, all women, it's degrees to it. All women want a guy taller than them. That's obvious. Nobody's debating that. All women want a guy that's taller, not equal in height, but taller. All women want a guy that's taller than them. I would say at least 5 or 6 inches generally. Nobody's debating that. But, and all women might be, if they had to just fall on their lap, 1 6 foot dude. But all women are not going to throw money away, resources away, and all of that away just for that. And they're not going to do that. Because if that was true, short dudes would have been genetically out-coded a long time ago. It's true, Georgia. Actually, Georgia boy, that is true. If you're a guy and you're from 5'5" to 5'9", clothes is very easy. You don't got to worry about that. You're absolutely correct on that. That's one of the things I call a byproduct. But at the same time, if you're short, if you're like a male and you're like shorter than like 5'5" or 5'4", then pants can become a problem. I know, because I have a cousin that's shorter than me. Pants can become an issue. The shirts are cool, but pants can become an issue. Also, if you're a guy that's like 5'5" to 9, well, 5'5", especially 5'5", 5'8", most of your bodybuilders are short because it's easier to build muscle. When you're sick, when you're due, and again, none of this is trying to make a comparison why it's better. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just giving you the facts. And I think I'd be interested to have that conversation, because I think the black community tries to act like most black men are 6 foot and over, and that's actually not true. That's actually not true at all. But the perception that the women have is most dudes are 6 foot, and that's not true. And like I said, Kevin Samuels is a tall dude, and Kevin Samuels said that. He said, no, most dudes are not. They're not. They're not. Like only 14% of all men are that. And I think he said 6 foot. And he said 6'2". I think it's less. I forget. I'll let him speak for himself. So this speaks to the perception. So then when women are bitching about dudes, take height off the table. Think about it, guys. These are some chicks that will say, I need a nigga that's 6 figures. And they'll thumb their nose out on a dude that makes 80,000. Now, they may make exception for a dude that's tall, but they'll still thumb their nose at that. So if you filter for height and money, you've pretty much eliminated a lot of black men. Black men that are 6 foot and up are what? Let's say either 6 foot or 6'2" or 14%. Now you want to do that and make 6 figures. Unless you're dealing with, think about that for a second. Shorter dudes can activate an aggression more because they have to. That's that German Shepherd shit I talk about. And although shorter dudes are not going to be quick necessarily to fight, they understand that motherfuckers are always going to try them. So they got to be ready to deal with that. See, for me personally, a lot of white boys used to try me because I was short. Black folks didn't fuck with me. They didn't really care. But also I know how to respect people and talk to people like I got some goddamn sense too. But white folks just thought I was that one black dude that could be fucked with. I don't know why they thought I was the dude they was gonna get their white supremacist belt on, but no. But anyway, y'all, it's been an interesting conversation. It's an interesting conversation. Anyway, this is Edward signing off. Peace.